India's dependable partner and long-time friend France is once again back to help India realize its strategic ambitions. India-France strategic dialogue between NSA Doval and Emmanuel Macron's diplomatic advisor Emanuel Bonne is taking place in Paris. It's scheduled for 30th September and 1st October. The big news is France has offered India major deals including nuclear-powered attack submarines, or what are also known as the SSNs. And this is big because India's existing fleet of submarines do not yet have an SSN. First, let's review the ongoing India-France strategic dialogue. This would be the first bilateral strategic engagement between the two sides after Emmanuel Macron's state visit to India in January of this year as the Republic Day chief guest. So this 9-month delay can perhaps be accrued to political instability in Macron's universe. If you remember, there was a hung government in search of an acceptable prime minister after an uncalled for snap elections happened in July. In fact, they were called by Macron. And amidst all of that, France had also conducted successful Olympic and Paralympic Games 2024. Finally, Paris has a brand new Prime Minister in Michel Barnier, and the government can finally run other agendas in the face of mounting debt crisis and other political divides. Macron too seems to have switched attention pretty quickly to foreign policy and defense that are key areas of a French president's mandate. And needless to say, his attention is once again on India. So in the run-up to the strategic dialogue which is happening in Paris now, the time-tested and celebrated India-France defense partnership is ready to leapfrog into the next level realm of submarine technology. Let's decode this a little better. Why is the submarine technology such a crucial factor? So far, India had only twice leased an SSN from Russia to experience its operational aspects. This happened first in the late 80s and then in 2010. A third lease, which was finalized in 2019 at $3 billion, now seems shelved. One, because of Russia's mounting attention to the Ukraine war, and two, because it's high time India should make its own instead of spending billions of dollars in renting them. The Russian submarines were called Chakra SSNs that were returned to Russia after the lease, and India never really developed its own version of SSNs. But France's offer could catapult India in yet another exclusive club of select few countries that possess a whole range of submarines, adding formidable capabilities to their stealth and firepower in the choppy waters of today's geopolitical churning. Paris has offered to support the construction of the submarine in the category nuclear-powered attack submarines, or the SSNs. Does that mean that there are other kinds of submarines too? Yes, of course, and I will return to that in a while. Coming back, and in a first, India has also been offered state-of-the-art UUVs, or advanced sea drones, for a whole range of activities in the, literally and metaphorically speaking, fluid universe of the seas. Finally, France has also offered 100% TOT for the 110 kilonewton thrust aircraft engines for India's Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or the AMCA program. Now, while these would be up for discussion as NSA Ajit Doval meets Bonne, but what makes these offers so special, and will they really fly? So what are the other latest updates in India-France defense cooperation? Not long after news had surfaced on the Indian side finalizing the deal on buying 26 Rafale Marines for India's aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, equipped with indigenously developed Astra missiles. And if you all remember, I did a column and a video on this as well, so you can actually go back and check it for other details. So coming back, it is reported that Indian Navy could be procuring at least 2 Rafale simulation centers for training its crew and pilots. Additionally, the Indian Air Force may also be looking at acquiring yet more Rafale fighters to ramp up its depleting squadrons. However, I am of the opinion that it would be better for India to focus on the indigenous programs such as AMCA to reduce dependence on foreign imports, which is the stated goals of India's defense vision as put forward by India's Ministry of Defense. So instead of buying off the shelf, it is much better to collaborate with trusted foreign partners like France to co-develop the 110 kN engine required for the AMCAS, which, by the way, has also been an offer from the French side for quite a while now. It is indeed heartening that France's footprint in India's defense industrial ecosystem has been growing in line with India's vision for self-reliance. In latest developments, Dassault Aviation, that makes both Rafales and the Mirage 2000 jets that India uses, has already progressed in establishing what is known as the MRO, or the Maintenance Repair Operations Facility, in India to service both these jets. And it may be recalled that Dassault is also a contender to supply 114 jets to the Indian Air Force's MRFA program, or the Multi-Role Fighter Aircraft program, although a final decision on these remain far-fetched. Like stated earlier, India has to find the right balance between procurement on the one hand and Make in India on the other, and a skewed dependence on the former will always stem India's progress in achieving that self-reliance. The other major French player, apart from Dassault Aviation, in Indian ecosystem is Safran, that manufactures engines for the Rafale jets. 100% French design, these M88 engines could be entirely produced in India at Safran's MRO facility in Hyderabad if they receive a significant order. So the logic here is that the French are looking for economies of scale. Then Safran is also collaborating with HAL, which is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, to design, develop and manufacture a turboshaft engine for the Indian IMRH, or the multi-role helicopter, and for the multi-role helicopter as well as the deck-based version of the multi-role helicopter. And now there is more. So Paris's significant splash in the ever-vibrant pool of India's recent defense industry ecosystem comes at a time when Indian Navy has indeed been aspiring to build at least 2 nuclear attack submarines, because our weakening naval deterrence against arch adversaries such as China is becoming more evident. So let's assess the sea power differentials from New Delhi's perspective. India seeks to strengthen its sea-based deterrence in an equation where the favor is getting tilted in the favor of China. Beijing boasts of having the world's largest navy by sheer number of vessels, and mainly the 6 Jin-class nuclear-powered ballistic submarines with a significantly higher firepower than India's Arighat or its predecessor, the Arihant. Also, the power differential with Pakistan has been declining as Beijing's support to Islamabad's submarine program is more conspicuous than ever. So in order for an effective nuclear deterrence at sea, India not only requires at least 2 more SSBNs, which is the Arihant class submarines, so that one can be deployed at all times, but also some SSNs, or the nuclear powered attack submarines. So what kind of submarines are the French offering, and how are they different from what India already has or has been developing, right? And for understanding that, one has to draw the bigger picture of exactly how are India's submarine capabilities dispersed. Currently, India has had a total of 18, which is now 19 after the latest edition. Out of these, 2 are ballistic missile submarines, or the SSBNs. Now, India had originally planned for 4 Arihant class SSBNs. The first was, of course, Arihant itself, and the second is Arighat, which was commissioned with a huge fanfare by the Defence Minister recently. I'm sure all of you remember that piece of news. Now, the remaining 2 are reportedly being built right now, but exact details remain a state secret. However, India still does not have what is referred to as the SSN, or the nuclear-powered attack submarine. When it comes to attack subs, actually India has the diesel-electric attack version, or the SSKs. We operate at least 17 of these boats, which can be broadly divided into Sindhu Ghosh, referred to as the Kilo class, which is designed by the Germans. Then there are the Kalvari class that are based on the French Scorpion class that fall under India's Project 75 program. And by the way, India has recently placed a fresh order with France in partnership with Mazgaon Dock to build at least 3 more Kalvari class submarines. And finally, there is also the long-standing diesel-electric AIP, or the Air Independent Propulsion Enabled Submarine Project, or the Project 75I, which is still awaiting a decision. The choice is between Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS, and Spain's Navantia, both of which will have respective Indian partners to build the project. Now, the French have offered the development of SSNs based on their own Barracuda class subs with significant TOT, a first time for India to be offered such a deal. You know, the fine details are not yet known and could be discussed right now as the two sides meet in Paris. Regarded as the crown jewel of military capability, if the deal on the SSN comes through, it would be the most staggering success for the already unprecedented India-France defense bonhomie. Now let's come to the other factor which could also be discussed at Paris: dronification of future maritime warfare and underwater drones. The French have also offered India advanced unmanned underwater vehicles, or the UUVs, which are actually submersible sea drones that could be used for a variety of tasks. For example, for surveillance, for research, for carrying weapons, for search operations, and of course for otherwise general defense. Once again, India faces a tilted power balance with China operating the HSU-001 UUVs, roughly comparable to the US and UK versions of the same. Beijing has also reportedly tested these UUVs around the Taiwan Strait region. Therefore, it is high time that India must start preparing for these tactical capabilities that are equally effective in hybrid warfare, and I think hybrid warfare is pretty much the hallmark of security challenges in the Indo-Pacific region today. In conclusion, India-France defense partnership has come a long way and has always created space for more. The real lasting push, however, will arrive only when these partnerships are complemented by technological cooperation and innovation. These are going to be the hallmark of future defense industry cooperation. Most likely, the still classified India-France Defense Industrial Roadmap already contains substantive plans to be steered at the NSA level. And perhaps that is why it is India's NSA in Paris for the ongoing strategic dialogue. The link to my article is given in the description box with plenty of references for those that are interested in reading further. I'll be back to discuss the future of India-France defense ties. Stay tuned.